Good morning, and welcome to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC, and WHTC.com.
And welcome to Talk of the Town for this Tuesday, May 12th. I'm Gary Stevens. We'll have a sliver of open line time following the 11 o'clock news. Next hour, if all goes well, we'll be chatting with the Master Gardener, Jan Musin from the Brine Seed. With our Yard and Garden Hour, in less than an hour, it will be Patty Vandenberg with What's New Around Holland. But on the second Tuesday of the month, we put our attention to things going on at the Holland Museum. Katie Baker, the Development Communications Manager, joins us on our Zoom connection from her residence, and we're glad that Katie is with us this morning. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning, Gary.
Glad you are with us, and if you want to join in the conversation, you can't join us on Zoom. No, we don't do that. But you can call the old-fashioned way at 395-1450, 395-1450, and we'll talk about the museum with Katie over the next few minutes. Normally, when we have the museum, we have an opportunity for you to win some passes to the museum, but Katie, I'm going to hold off on that particular feature until the museum does reopen to the general public, and unfortunately, that's still going to be a little ways away, even if the safer at home executive order is allowed to expire on the 28th. It's going to be a while before, unfortunately, the museum and the Capon House will be reopened to the public, but at least you're keeping it clean, right?
Absolutely. We're actually hiring if anybody wants to check out our website. We are working on keeping it super clean. We are have a regular staff that are going in. We actually only have about 2 staff members that are going into the building at all once a week just to check mail. They are cleaning after themselves, and then we are putting into place a COVID-19 protocol on how to keep our museum visitors safe and what that looks like moving forward when we are able to open and have visitors. So we are working on a plan so that it's not we're ready when we're able to be open, and that we are keeping everybody safe when they are able to come, because we really can't wait to have everybody back.
And when I chatted with Ricky Levine on this a month ago, and she mentioned, I'll just repeat it again, maybe to those who missed the conversation, part of the protocol that the museum has to have is that you got to maintain things so that the exhibits and the collections are not spoiled just because right now not many people are walking through.
Absolutely. We are looking at how to keep things that are hands-on clean, like what Spark Lab will look like when we are able to open again, because that's a high-touch area. So we're working as a staff, working with the Smithsonian to come up with a plan on how that'll work, and making sure. The nice thing about museums is most people keep their hands in their pockets and you're not allowed to touch anything anyways. So that is kind of something that's great that we already have into place. And we can't wait to share the history of Holland with the community again, especially our Heinz exhibit that we have up right now.
We'll talk about some of the exhibits in a few moments that people can not only see, well, eventually when the museum does open, they can be able to see in person, but right now can see virtually. But I do want to ask you this, Katie. Has the museum thought about doing some sort of collecting now? Because what we're going through right now, it's still the early stages. They're going to be historians are going to be writing about this for years to come, about the COVID-19 situation of 2020 worldwide and how it affected Holland. This is a good chance to maybe collect some items.
Absolutely. We actually have a questionnaire on our website. So we are hoping that people will share their stories, whether you're working from home, whether you are an essential worker and you have to go into your company every day, whether you're homeschooling and working full time. Maybe you are just quarantined. Maybe you had COVID-19 and would like to share that experience with us. So if you go to our website and click on the collections tab, that's where we're collecting those stories. And the great thing is we have an opportunity for adults to share, but we really are looking to collect children's kids' stories as well. So maybe you have a 10-year-old that missed a really cool recital and would really like to share that story. Maybe they discovered something new, a new talent while they were in quarantine. No story is too small, no story is too big. We are looking at all those stories because, like you said, this is an unprecedented time. And we've also been doing history into the 1918 Spanish flu and what that looked like. So especially in Holland, so we'll be sharing those on social media soon. But I think it's important to collect those stories because hopefully we will not have this time again in our lifetime.
Not only with the youngsters, but also for me, I would think our high school seniors in the mission, they were born just after 9/11. And they've gone through a lot, and now they have this. I mean, they'll have an interesting perspective. Granted, they probably don't know anything about 9/11 except what they read in the history books, or if they read in the history books, I don't know. But anyway, this is something, and not just visual history, verbal history as well. I know a few years ago, the museum was collecting verbal stories when the Civic Center was going under renovation, and this is a time to collect those stories.
Absolutely. We have a spot where you can send us pictures. So if you have drawings or if you have participated in the hearts, where people are putting hearts around the community and have pictures of your house, or maybe you have some great sidewalk chalk that you've taken pictures of. Maybe it's a family photo. I love family photos. And those are what is so popular on social media. So won't it be great in 50 years if I can share, or not me, but on whatever system we have in 50 years to share history, that we're able to share that and tell those stories from this time. But we can only do that with the support of the community. I think that's important to know, is that we are able to search out some history, but really our collections are reliant on who is able to tell those stories, who's able to tell us and donate to the museum. So that's really important, because people always say, well, don't you have this in the collection? But we only have what people are able to donate and share with us. We do seek out some particular stories and things like that, so don't even think that. But that's a huge part of our collection. So this is one of those times where it would be great to have the community's support in telling their story, because we are the community museum and we really want to help tell that story.
Katie Baker is with the Holland Museum. If you have a question for Katie, she'll take it at 395-1450, 395-1450. And speaking about community support, we'll talk near the end about how the community can still support the museum, even though right now they can't go to the museum or the Capon House and see the exhibits themselves, but certainly the financial support will be just as important. Trivia night, well, the fundraiser is wiped out, but Trivia night is still on the schedule. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we had actually pushed back our trivia night. It was our fourth annual trivia night that we usually host at the end of April. It's a fantastic evening. It's truly one of my favorite nights. I've been in charge of it for 2 years, and I told my boss, I told Ricky I was very sad to have to cancel that this year, because it truly is one of my favorite evenings. We had rescheduled it for the end of June, but we have record numbers of 250 more people at that event. So at the end of June, we are not sure what that's going to look like, and if we're able to have that kind of crowd. So what we've heard as we've canceled that event is that people still really want trivia. They really want to hear and engage with us and talk about Holland's history. We've seen that on social media during this time, and people are looking for something to do to interact. So we've developed a online virtual trivia night, and I'm super excited. I'll be hosting it, so you get to see my smiling face again in a couple days at 8 p.m. on Thursday, May 14th. We're doing a Facebook Live, so you'll be just hopping onto our Holland Museum Facebook page. I suggest coming a few minutes early just to make sure that the technology works and everything, and you'll be entering your answers from your house. So grab your spouse, grab your kids, join in the fun, and it'll be kind of an evening thing. So my 4-year-old will be in bed. I'm excited about that. Might have a glass of wine with you guys. And we will be doing 3 rounds of 10 questions each. And I'll tell you a little bit about the museum during the rounds if you're not familiar with the museum, but it's a great opportunity to just relax and enjoy some trivia.
By the way, no ringers allowed. In other words, you can't get a hold of your good friend, Ken Jennings, to try to answer some of those questions on this trivia night.
It will be about Holland. There will be some questions about Holland specific, but we'll do some U.S. history, some questions about the museum. So you might not know the answer, but it'll be a fun question to learn, an opportunity to learn about the museum. Maybe some art and music history. So we try to have a variety of questions. So it's not just about Holland. So if you're in the greater Grand Rapids area, it's still an opportunity to participate and have fun.
And since it is a Facebook Live event, you might be competing against those who are from this area that are living far away from our shores. It might be I don't know, dare I say worldwide event, but you never know. Again, what's the time? What's the time again for this trivia night there, Katie?
Sure. It's Thursday, May 14th at 8 p.m. And it should be about an hour.
And it'll be on Facebook Live with the Holland Museum's Facebook page. Just type in Holland Museum. You should be able to find it pretty easily. 395-1450, 395-1450. We're with Katie Baker. She is the Development Communications Manager with the Holland Museum. It's our our monthly conversation and our monthly update with the Holland Museum. Other virtual things that the museum is doing, including then and now. Tell us a little bit about some of the virtual things that the museum is doing now to sort of make up for some of the vacuum right now that people can't go to the museum on 10th and River or at the Capon House right now.
Yes, we've been working and curating with our staff to really develop more meaningful history and some detailed history on our social media that you might not be able to even see in the museum. So it's an opportunity for us to open up our collections and really share virtually a variety of interesting things. We have a little bit more of a captive audience with everybody home and maybe scrolling on social media a little bit more. So it's a great opportunity for us. And we've seen great interactions. I have so much fun reading comments and talking to people on social media about the history of Holland specifically. One of the campaigns we did a couple weeks ago was a week-long then and now. So we took images from our collection of specifically downtown Holland. We focused on downtown Holland because I think there's some really iconic images from then of the Civic Center and the City Hall, the museum, the Capon House. There's a lot of different buildings, businesses, the windmill restaurant. It's so fun to see all the old history objects. And one of our collection assistants was able to go downtown and take pictures on a beautiful sunny day of what those buildings look like now. So we did a side-by-side comparison. She did Russ's Restaurant and really did a great job of standing in the spot where she thought the original photo was probably taken. And then we did a side-by-side comparison and people shared their memories about going to the restaurant or a business that had been in the location. We had a whole discussion one day about a movie that was in a movie theater and how that dated the photo and people remembering going to see that movie. And it was just a really fun time. So we really focused on how to engage people with the museum, telling history, connecting with the community through alternative channels than coming into our physical building.
You know, one of the things that I would like to sort of find out whether or not it can be done, I don't know, Katie Baker, but people can see it when they're, Central and 7th. You can see it from the parking lot of the Warm Friend, the building that houses the bagel shop now, has the old Studebaker advertisement still on the wall, and I kind of wonder, if that building that hosts that has the bagel shop now, if that was a car dealer at the time, kind of wonder if there was any photos of that old Studebaker dealership in downtown Holland. I don't know whether it is. It's just a curious question on my part.
You know what? I'll check in with our registrar and see what he's got.
It should be very interesting if that's the case. 395-1450, 395-1450. Of course, Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month. It's a good chance to get caught up with what's going on with the Holland Museum here on Talk of the Town. But there are better ways to keep up with what's going on in the museum in a more timely manner, and you don't have to worry about 9:30 Tuesday morning. I got to turn on the radio. Tell us about how you can keep people informed about what's going on in the at the museum, Katie.
Sure. So we update our website, hollandmuseum.org, on a regular basis. You can get a lot of information there. Our digital collection is accessible there. We also have STEAM resources, so that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math on our Spark Lab page, so you can have some fun ideas on that page. We also have a new tour of our Dutch galleries on that virtual page. We also have an e-newsletter, a weekly e-newsletter that we send out, and that e-newsletter goes out every Friday morning, so it's in your inbox, and you can check out some of those then and now pictures, highlighting different things from our collection. We also are telling different stories through there. We have I don't know if you saw, the Getty Museum did a really fun challenge early into the stay-at-home order, where they asked people to look at their collection and find images on their digital collection and then recreate them. It was really fun. So we've asked people in our community to do that as well. And so I've been sharing some of those. A lot of our staff has participated. We've gotten some great community response from that. So feel free to continue to take a look at our website and then recreate your own family photo with your dog or with your cat or with just you or your broomstick. It doesn't matter. You want to.
Yeah, I could see, I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too,
Hello.
Good morning. You're on the line with Katie Baker.
About the Good Earth Bakery, or whatever we want to call it.
Yep.
I know quite a bit of history about the building. That was a Studebaker garage. It was called Terhaar Auto Sales. My father started there when he got out of the war, World War II, and it was a dealership. It was a repair facility. Then after that, I may not have it in the right order, it was a Firestone tire store for a while. I think the Mosiers own it, that have the outpost. Now they own that property, but it was definitely a car dealership. My father, in his golden years, we'd ride by and he'd hold his hand to his heart. It was his first full-time job.
My question is, do you have any old photos of that?
I heard you talk about that earlier. I'll do some digging. I doubt it, but I will dig around, or maybe my brother may have some.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
let
get back to you.
Yeah, let the museum know about that, because that would be nice, because that is part of our history.
Yeah, I used to work for an auto parts store on 8th Street, Reliable Motor Supply, and we used to deliver parts to the Firestone tire store because they did wheel alignments and everything else. And when I was involved there, we delivered parts when it was a Firestone store. So there's a lot of history. I'll try and find some pictures for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the call. 395-1450, 395-1450. Katie, that's really what, to a certain extent, the Holland Museum is looking, not just now with the COVID-19, but even our more recent history, just the then and now segment, and that got me to think about that, about the bagel shop.
Absolutely. Some of the photos that we shared were from the 1980s, so they were not all 100 years old. They were a little bit more recent history, and so I think that that's really important. And I think something people always forget, that things maybe need to be 50 years old in order to go to a museum, but it's not. We're collecting stories now. We're collecting the history now. And I think that that's what makes a museum really exciting and continue to grow and evolve with the community.
When we talked to Ricky Levine of the museum last month, Katie, one of the tough things was the fact that Heinz Pickle plant exhibit was about ready to be unfurled, big celebration, grand opening and all that, and then Stay Home, Stay Safe came on. Fortunately, the exhibit is going to last until August the 16th, and hopefully people can be able to come in, Katie, and see it in person.
Yes, I have seen it. It was great. We had our opening reception on March 12th, and then March 13th, we were open for one day and then shut down. So It is a really sad time because it is a fantastic exhibit. It was really, it's really fun. There is a lot of history in there, things I didn't know. I grew up in West Michigan, but I didn't know very much about the Heinz plant. Some things that was super interesting to me was that during World War I, the company offered life insurance to its employees that were going off to war. So that was revolutionary. That wasn't really, life insurance wasn't a guarantee at that time. So, but they knew that they were going to lose some of their employees and they wanted to make sure their families were supported during that time. They also hired a lot of women and minorities at the plant. And so that was really important to the progress of the company. So we are thrilled to host this exhibit, and we've been trying to share some unique stories on our social media that might not have made it into the exhibit. I've been working with our exhibit coordinator, and she's been able to provide me with some stories because there was so much history. Not all of it fit into the exhibit. So some of those stories can be found on our social media sites. And one of the things that I keep hearing in the comments from people that are enjoying that social content is that they can't wait to get back to the museum to see it because they might have worked there, or they had family that worked there, or it was an important part of their community, or maybe they just smelled pickles. Is that people smelled the pickles in the community. And so they really were looking forward to learning a little bit more about the history. And don't fear, we will be open, I'm sure, this summer at some point, and you'll be able to come in, and as soon as we're able to be open, we'll make sure that people can come in and see the exhibit and experience that local history.
Yeah, it should be a whole lot of fun there. Katie Baker, unfortunately, we're out of time on this particular segment, and I will encourage our listeners to check out the Holland Museum's webpage, which is hollandmuseum.org, not only about some of the virtual exhibits that are going on, some of the activities that are scheduled virtually, but also how people can be involved with the Holland Museum because, financial support you guys are definitely going to want to have. Katie, as always, we thank you very much for the time, and we'll put a link to hollandmuseum.org when we put the audio podcast on our website at WHTC.com in a few minutes. Look forward to chatting with you again soon. Look forward to having another museum update next month on Talk of the Town.
Thanks, Gary.